Good morning, everybody. It is Matt Modi here with OddsJam. You guys know the drill at this point. Here to give you some NBA player props to lock in for today, Tuesday, January 10th. We got a decent slate of NBA games, not a huge game, a decent enough slate to give us a bunch of plays to lock in. Gonna go through these, identify my best of the best. In terms of positive expected value betting, it's been going incredibly well for me recently. I am up, looks like the past 5 weeks. I am up, especially the last 2 weeks, been up a decent amount. As you can see, my total profit using OddsJam squarely above the 20K number, which I was at last week. Then I lost a couple hundred. I gained that back with some good bets yesterday, so hopefully we can keep this above 20K, get it to 30, 40, 50, 500, who knows. But things have been going really well with OddsJam, with positive expected value betting. Just need to kind of understand that there will be some variance. We see some really bad down weeks here, like down 1,400, down 1,600, but squarely in the green majority of the times, and then also in the long run. So just need to accept a little bit of variance sometimes. But for this video, the plays I'm going to lock in, of course, using the positive EV page, as I mentioned. And the first one, and we can get right into it, is Lamelo Ball to go under 3.5 made three-pointers. This is at plus 135 odds at bet365. So the reason why this is a mathematically profitable play is because of these no vig odds right here. So if you've been following along the OddsJam YouTube channel, you probably already know this, but every single play that shows up here on the EV page is going to be mathematically profitable. And the reason why is all going to be because of the number in the no vig odds column here, this column right here. So we're looking at the screenshot here, right? I clicked into a play, pulls up odds from every sportsbook, right? Look at the wide range of odds we see for this play, right? Like on the over side, we see odds range from minus 140 to minus 154 to minus 165. On the underside, which is what we are betting, we see odds range from plus 110 to plus 135 to plus 115. You can ignore Monkey Knife Fight because they're a DFS company, so they have minus 137 odds for everything, so you can ignore them. But with this knowledge that there's going to be a wide range of odds between the sports books for the same exact play, like Lamelo Ball is either going to go over or under this prop. And for the under, you could make a $20 difference if you're risking $100 just from making sure you're getting the best odds. But because there's that difference of 20 cents, right, from plus 110 to plus 135, 25 cents, one of those sports books has to be incorrect. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to both be correct if the odds are that different, right? Like, if Apple stock is priced at $300 a share on one exchange and then 200 on another, they can't both accurately reflect the market of Apple stock, right? One of them has to be incorrect. And it's the same thing with sports betting. With odds this different, one of them has to be incorrect. And another thing about sports betting is some sportsbooks are historically better than others at pricing odds. Some are just better. That's really what it comes down to. There are some reputable market exchanges that you look to like basically accurately reflect the stock market. Again, it's the same thing with sports betting. There are sharper sports books. And what OddsJam did was test thousands of previous betting opportunities to determine who the sharpest is. And that's exactly what pulls into these no vig odds. So these odds here you can view as the true line of what a market should truly be priced at, right? The most accurate representation of what this line should be priced at. And we're getting basically 8 cents of better odds than the true line at plus 135. So the gap between these two numbers, that's your profitability, right? It should be priced one way. We are getting it another way. It'd basically be like, to use another stock example, Apple stock is should be priced at 300 based on every reputable market exchange. You can get it somewhere at $250 a share. You would want to invest in that stock. It's the same thing with sports betting. So that's why these bets are profitable. That doesn't mean I just lock in blindly every single one here. The additional research I like to do, which is what you saw me do, was compare the bet you are placing. So identify the bet that you are actually going to lock in this case, Lamelo Ball under 3.5. So Lamelo Ball under 3.5 at plus 135 odds, and then compare that to every other sportsbook in what they are pricing odds at. And as we can see, this plus 135 is a huge outlier compared to every other book. And that's exactly what we're doing when we're looking into the odds. You want to identify, is the bet that I am placing an outlier or not? If yes, then that means that's a good bet, which is exactly what we have here. So this is a good one. Lamelo Ball under 3.5 made threes, plus 135 odds. Really good play. My first pick for this video. Next up, another one that I'm going to lock in here is Darius Garland under 7.5 assists. This is at minus 105 odds at Bet365. So the OddsJam perfect line, the true line for this is at about minus 111. So again, we're getting it 6 cents lower at minus 105. And then you want to compare the odds of your bet to the rest of the sports books as well. You want to do, I do this for every single bet, and if it's not an outlier, then I won't bet it. But this one is another outlier. Look at Bet365 and compare it to every other sports book, right? We see like minus 135 with the closest being minus 114. And when you're betting on player props, there are a couple sharp sports books that you want to look out for to make sure that you're getting an outlier to the majority of these sports books. Number one is Pinnacle. Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world, so given the heaviest weight in terms of calculating the no vig odds. Now, it's not the end all be all. It's not the perfect, or I get not poor wording. It's not the end all be all. It's not the only sports book that we look at, but it is a sharp one. Prices this at minus 132. That's a good sign. Another sharp one is Bet Online. So Bet Online only has this at minus 114. So that's not necessarily a point in our favor. But the third one, and granted, DraftKings isn't given as much weight as the first two, as Bet Online and Pinnacle, but still given heavy weight. Again, has it at minus 130, the over at plus 100. So two of the three sharp sports books are in alignment that it's priced, 25 cents lower than the Bet365 line, as well as literally every other book except for Bet Online. And Bet Online only has it at minus 114. So it's not like they have it super close to what the Bet365 number is. So, excuse me. So those are the type of things that you look out for, right? Is it an outlier? Is it an outlier to the sharp sports books? These answers to the first two plays was both yes. So they were good plays. Next up, we are looking at Jarrett Allen under 13.5 points. This is similar math-wise to the Darius Garland one. The OddsJam perfect line prices this just above minus 110, so we can round to minus 110. Bet365 is giving it to us at minus 105. And then look at every other sports book, right? So start with the sharp ones. Pinnacle, minus 133, that's a good sign. Bet Online, minus 123, that's a good sign. DraftKings, minus 130, checks all three of the boxes for the sharp sports books. Then if you compare the rest of the markets just to make sure, minus 135, minus 133, all good to go pretty much across the board. The only one that's kind of close is Bet Rivers, but again, it's at minus 114, so not super close. So another really good play, another clear identifier, a clear outlier identified, making this a really good play. Bet number 4 is Lauri Markkanen under 25.5 points. He's been balling this year, so I understand the hesitation on this one, but got to trust the data, and the data says that his under is a good play. Bet365 offering it at plus 110. So not as big of a gap on this play between the other ones, offering this at plus 110, but with the OddsJam perfect line pricing this just below plus 109 at plus 108.66. But look at the plus 110 compared to every other book. It's pretty much minus 105 across the board. You can ignore Prize Picks because they're another DFS company, so they're always going to have the same odds on Prize Picks, minus 137 or minus 119. So you can ignore that. So for every major sports book that's pricing it, minus 105 across the board. We're getting it for plus money at plus 110, which means that if you place 1,000 bets at plus 110 odds and you win exactly 50% of your bets, you would have just made money. Even if you lose the majority of your bets, like 52 or 52%, you're probably making money betting at plus 110 odds. So that's kind of the logic and why it can be beneficial to bet on plus money plays. And this isn't rocket science, but your win percentage can be lower and you can still make money. And then the last play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is this Ivica Zubac over 10.5 points plus 102 at Bet Rivers. So the OddsJam perfect line prices this just below plus 100. Compare the other sports books. So PointsBet actually favors it going over, which is kind of funny because we're getting it for plus money. FanDuel has it for minus 111, and then BetOnline and Fox Bet have it as a 50-50 outcome each way. So if you see the equal amount of juice on each side, right? Like the over is minus 114, the under is minus 114. This is the sports book telling you that they don't have a likely side on this one. They don't have a side that they think is more likely, that they think is favored. So they're charging equal amounts of juice on each side. The fact that we're getting it for plus 102 is, again, means that for its plus money, means that we don't need to win, or we can win 50% of the time and still be making money. So this is I think the fifth and final play to lock in for these NBA player props for today. So if you're tailing these, comment and let me know. But that's all I got. So I do appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.